Like many people across the nation, summer is a time for relaxation and vacations. Individuals and groups have begun to appreciate the fact that volunteering and vacations can go together, enhancing everyone's travel experience. While we are producing new stories for our next season, we bring back some of our favorites from previous episodes of travel television.
The human brain. It's built pyramids, cured diseases, and sent man into space. And yet, it's no bigger than a head of cabbage. At its best, there seems to be no problem too big for the human brain to solve, unless that brain is malnourished during development. Then its potential is reduced by as much as 25%. Add the effects of hunger, disease, and a general lack of education, and that brain has been forever stunted, as has its owner.
Proving that there is a connection between food, nutrition, health, and IQ is the objective of the St. Lucia Project. Our guest, Bud Philbrook, is a nonprofit entrepreneur, co-founder with his wife of Global Volunteers, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary. It is an honor to have a pioneer in the world of volunteerism. Welcome, Bud.
Well, thank you very much.
Can you tell us more about the St. Lucia Project?
Yeah, the St. Lucia Project is intended to demonstrate that short-term volunteers can have a positive impact on children and in all of their development. It's very interesting. At birth, 87% of a newborn's metabolic energy is going toward its brain development. Even at a year, it's still 60%. So think about that. These are vital times. Those first 1,000 days between conception and the second birthday, if pregnant women and the children receive sufficient food, nutrition, and protection from disease, can have an enormous impact. And what we intend to do is to demonstrate that those children will actually have higher IQs than their older siblings and cousins.
That sounds great. Have you started this initiative, or is there a start date for it in the future?
We were invited to St. Lucia in 2011. We are working in cooperation with the Ministries of Education, Health, and Agriculture at the invitation of the Catholic Church in a community in the western part of the country, right on the Caribbean Sea, called Anse-la-Raye. Beautiful place, but very poor. The first volunteers, teams of volunteers, were there, started in January of 2012. We've since sent about 300 volunteers. The first year we spent most of our time building trust and relationships with the local people. In 2013 we focused on how to actually deliver the services. In 2014 we are focusing our energies on primarily pregnant women and newborns and toddlers.
And then in the coming years you'll follow up with that same group?
Well, we intend to be there for as long as we're continued to be invited. And the indications from the government and the community is that that will be for a long time.
Excellent.
Global Volunteers typically works in communities for decades.
So Global Volunteers is celebrating its 30th anniversary. What has been the mission during that time?
Our mission is to wage peace and promote justice. We engage average Americans in the process of making this a more peaceful world. And the way that happens is through friendship. So our volunteers work hand in hand with local people, and in that process they become friends. And friends typically, when there's disputes, attempt to resolve them non-violently. And so our view is that the more friends there are in the world, the more peaceful dispute resolution there will be. And we promote justice the same way, because when you have a friend against whom an injustice is being perpetrated, you want to do something about it.
Right.
So the more friends in the world, the more justice there'll be in the world.
It sounds like a great mission. What do you see for the future of Global Volunteers?
Some years ago, the United Nations identified 12 services that every child needs in order to realize the fullness of their potential. The 12 essential services fall into 3 categories: eradicating hunger, improving health, and enhancing IQ. Delivering the essential services is the focus for the next several decades at least, trying to ensure that every child on the planet could have all of the services necessary so they could realize the fullness of their potential. We know that if just 2% of all the population of the developed world volunteered for 2 to 3 weeks a year, within a generation, every child would receive all the services necessary so that they would get all their IQ points that they were supposed to, and therefore learn what they need to learn to become full and contributing members of society.
So tell us about a volunteer experience that moved you the most.
In St. Lucia, we are working with an organization called the Roving Caregivers. These are women who go literally door to door, much like a caseworker would, and help new moms learn how to better care for their children. And then when our volunteers are in country, they go along with the caseworkers and meet with and work with the mothers and their children. And one evening after the day's work, during the reporting session, one of the volunteers said that one of the women that she had worked with that day, one of the moms, asked her if she would be sure to come back tomorrow.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, very meaningful to that volunteer.
Absolutely. So if people are interested in this project and in learning more information, how can they contact you?
Well, they can go on our website, which is globalvolunteers.org, and all the information is there. They can call us toll-free at 800-487-1074. All the information would be available to them.
Stop. Whatever else you're doing, just stop.
This is your invitation to make history.
You have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of a group of people
on a mission to accomplish something great. How great?
Together, we can help raise the IQ of an entire country.
Join us.
Join us. Together, we can change the course of an entire country. And if we do, the world is next.
The Clinton Global Initiative works to solve social problems worldwide through collaboration with industry leaders and volunteer organizations. Today, its members are in Washington, D.C.
Some of you will be painting. Some will be installing handrails for older and disabled residents. Others will be repairing porches, removing fences, cleaning gutters, demolishing drywall. Some of you will be putting together boxes for people a long way away from this neighborhood.
Recently, the Clinton Global Initiative University, along with Booz Allen, USO, and Rebuilding Together, brought their efforts to the District of Columbia. Students from George Washington University and many other student volunteers gave their time and talents to helping district residents fix their homes. Chelsea Clinton and the former president attended the ceremony held at Kelly Miller Middle School. Along with D.C. Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, Richard J. Wilhelm of Booz Allen, and over 1,000 volunteers from the USO and Rebuilding Together. Students from around the country were selected for their activism and unique approaches to solving housing, hunger, and societal issues around the globe. The university initiative at the Clinton Foundation brings the students together to share their ideas, learn from each other, and experience the opportunity to volunteer in other communities. Through a commitment to action, these student volunteers have come up with ingenious ideas to solve challenges in countries like Haiti.
Hello, my name is Monica Powell. I'm an honors student at Rockland Community College in New York, and my commitment to action is titled Best for Haiti, and it deals with a solar-powered water purification system that we will be sending to Haiti, an orphanage there, in order to eradicate the disease that is caused by impure water.
Hi, my name is Anisha. I'm from University of California, San Diego. We're supporting Project Rishi, Rural India Social and Health Improvement. Commitment to action is based in India. We got selected because we're presenting Swaranand, which is a disabled orchestra made up of ex-patients from the leprosy colony. We want to support them. We want to raise awareness for them. That's why we got selected to come to CGIU.
Tell you a little bit about the people we're going to work with today. today. Rebuilding Together is a group that works to preserve affordable home ownership and revitalize communities by making free home repairs to people in need. If their houses are in bad shape and they are struggling to pay their bills, they can't afford to repair them. That's one of the things that Rebuilding Together does. If when you're doing that you make the home more energy efficient, you put money directly into their pockets by lowering their utility bills. The USO, which is legendary for going overseas and helping to lift the morale of America's troops, but they do a lot of work with military, foreign military people and their families in America.
Volunteers focused their efforts in Ward 7 of the district, the importance of which was self-evident. Socioeconomic forces have buffeted residents for years, but today those same forces provide a beacon that is leading the Clinton Global Initiative to communities like Ward 7, where their efforts are most needed.
What we are doing today is not only helping individual people who are strapped for money and need you, and also as a way of saying the District of Columbia matters. Our national capital is more than the government buildings and more than the elected officials that get to zip out and go home on the weekends. It is a symbol of what we care about and our values. It is right for grassroots service.
I want to thank President Clinton for remembering that global initiative. The Clinton Global Initiative includes the United States and especially the District of Columbia.
The Clinton Global Initiative is a collaboration. Booz Allen Hamilton has been a prominent partner from the beginning. Richard Wilhelm attended the ceremony as a representative.
I'm especially pleased to participate in CGI University's Day of Service. CGIU is creating opportunities for all of you to build relationships, learn from others, and identify new and more effective ways to get things done. And Booz Allen is proud to be part of that experience. Hundreds of Booz Allen employees, alongside volunteers from many other organizations, will pick up their hammers where you lay them down and continue improving these same homes. Thanks very much today for giving us a head start. For me, this day is clear evidence of what strong partnerships can lead to, and I can't really wait to see the results of today.
Former President Clinton expressed the importance of helping locally and globally.
It's important to remember that whether you're here or in a remote village in Africa or East Asia or Latin America or in a desert village in the Middle East, it's all the same thing if you start with people first. Because when people are disempowered in any way, it shows up in ways that you never imagined in the lives of the children. Any of you who come from a country where people have been disempowered know that there are children whose lives are kept back because of it. There are a lot of wonderful people who live here. They need and deserve the work you're going to do today. And therefore, this is a perfect place for us to demonstrate that at CGIU, we don't just talk, we do.
My name is Mary Ellen Isaacs, and we're here in Washington, D.C. at the National Conference on Volunteering and Service. And this group behind us, we are putting together 100,000 meals for the Capital Area Food Bank here in D.C.
Hi, my name is Mark Loika. We're here in Washington, D.C. at the Conference on Volunteerism and Service. I'm both an employee and volunteer for Glasswing International, and I'm here to learn about volunteerism and help share some practices that we have in volunteerism in El Salvador.
I think it's everyone here at this conference is a volunteer of one kind or another, and we truly believe that you get more back from volunteering than you even give. And it's just a great opportunity to serve your community, to get out and make the world a better place.
Don Wildman, host of Mysteries at the Museum, talked to me about the Quaker volunteer tradition. Don, what are some of the most interesting volunteer opportunities that you've done or that you are looking forward to doing in the future?
Sure. Well, volunteerism is very important to me. I was really raised on the stuff. You know, I was born into Quakerism, which is a religion that really supports that effort. Their premier organization is the AFSC, American Friends Service Committee, which basically goes around the world volunteering in different communities globally. I'm from the Philadelphia area, which is like, as Salt Lake City is to Mormons, Philadelphia is to Quakers. So I was raised as a Quaker, I was educated as a Quaker, Quaker schools and so forth. A really noble upbringing, a very value-oriented existence. And one of the big centerpieces of that kind of, that religion really, is volunteering in the world, which started almost 100 years ago, if not more. You know, it's unlike, something like the Peace Corps,
right,
in that groups of Quakers go places and volunteer and give their services. That's imbued in you as a kid as an important value to go about it. I'm doing all this work in my life. I'm putting money in the bank. I'm putting retirement away. When it's all, you know, not too far away, I'm going to volunteerism because it's really, really important that we give in our lifetime, you know, in a selfless way.
Right. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. It's a big challenge to society, especially American society. We have such a prosperous world that we grow up in. We're so fortunate. But to be able to turn our eyes away to people who are not so fortunate is really critical.
Right, right. So will you use your background in travel to maybe travel to different areas to do volunteer activities, or is that kind of up in the air right now?
Yeah, it's you know, a dice throw as to how it will work. I think local more than international now in terms of what my value is in the world. So I hope to land in a place where I can help my local community do better. I'm passionate about farming. If I get that farm, I have a plan to. I would love to teach kids how to grow things, that kind of stuff.
Great.
If I'm a huge celebrity, maybe I can use that as a powerful position. But always from that standpoint, that there's good to be done in the world.
I appreciate your time. I'm here with Don Wildman with the Travel Channel. This is Carrie with Travel Television, and we're out. Generating Good Deeds is a mission of this organization started in Israel by Sherry Arison. In a few short years, more than 250,000 volunteers have become part of this Pay It Forward experience. Travel Television spoke with Sherry in Washington, D.C.
Well, Good Deeds Day started in Israel 7 years ago. We've been growing every year. This year in Israel, 370,000 people went out to do a good deed in 5,200 projects. It's crossed all borders, cultural borders, young, old, all religions. It's quite amazing. And we're out of Israel now, 50 different countries going out to do a good deed. And we're here in Washington where there's 3,200 people going out to do a good deed. Here in the Jewish Community Center, they're making sandwiches for the homeless. And this morning I was in Common Farming, where they farm and give the food to the homeless as well. So it's quite amazing. The idea of Good Deeds Day is that everyone can do a good deed, big or small. If you want to go out and volunteer for a cause, that's great. Donate, that's great. But I keep saying to everyone that the idea is simple. A smile that brightens someone else's day is a good deed. If you see a piece of garbage in the street, pick it up, throw it in the trash. That's a good deed. Take your grandma to lunch. That's a good deed. So everybody's connecting. We're really creating a critical mass of people that's going out to do good. In fact, we had a huge kickoff yesterday in New York City at Times Square. So it's really catching on and people are connecting. I hope it will turn into an official international day where everyone goes out and does a good deed, and that people take it into their lives on a daily basis so that people start thinking good, speaking good, and doing good every day. Well, actually, we see that people that connect on Good Deeds Day then follow up and continue to volunteer every day. We have an organization in Israel called Ruach Tovah, Good Spirit, which organizes this day, and they see that people who connect on Good Deeds Day then volunteer all year round, which is quite amazing.
Among the many events held were groups making cards for the military serving around the globe, families packing food donations for those in need, and kids generating feelings through their participation. As the mission has grown, Jewish groups in this area and other countries have joined the volunteers in Israel each year on Good Deeds Day. Through a partnership with MTV, good deeds efforts were encouraged at the global level.
If we want to see a different world, if we want a positive change, we should start thinking of how we can connect, how we can be together, and how we can bring positive solutions to make a difference in our world.
From Washington, D.C. and Miami to Paris, London, and Frankfurt, from New Delhi to Buenos Aires, and from Singapore to Johannesburg, people from over 50 countries across the globe join the collective effort to make the world a better place by doing good.
In her book, Activate Your Goodness, Sherry describes her motivation for Good Deeds Day. I believe there is a tipping point with all this energy in the world. There will always be a struggle between good and bad. Yet I believe we can move the tipping point in the direction we want it to go. We can move it more quickly toward good if we continue to create a critical mass of people doing good, choosing good, and thinking good. Once that happens, we will suddenly see a different world. Is it possible to combine a luxury vacation with a volunteer experience? At Sandals Resorts, yes it is. Sandals Foundation allows guests to select from a variety of community-based grassroots experiences depending on the location of the resort. In White House, Jamaica, a teacher took a day out of her vacation to experience a reading road trip. As you see through this interview, it's an experience she and her husband won't soon forget.
The Sandals Foundation launched in 2009 as a way of expanding the work that Sandals does here in the Caribbean, in the community, under education and environment. We operate in all the islands where Sandals, Beaches and Grand Pineapple operate. So that's Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, Jamaica, St. Lucia and Antigua. One of the elements to the foundation is getting our guests involved and our partners involved in our work through volunteering. Many of our guests want to get out into the schools and to see the children and to meet the local people in any of the regions that they went to. And we really want it to be in a structured, focused kind of way so that not only was the guests getting an opportunity to meet the children, but the children were benefiting from the journey as well. So we came up with a reading road trip, which really allows guests to go out and work with children in the schools that are not doing as great at reading as they should be for their grade level. So the guests go out and read to the kids. They have games that have to do with learning phonics. And really and truly, the children get so excited because of the fact that they have a guest speaker. They get to know about other areas in the world, whether it be Canada or the States or the UK.
As a teacher, I really wanted to do this reading road trip because I knew it would really broaden my knowledge of the education system in a different part of the world. To put a smile on a child's face from a different country is very fulfilling. It was the best day of my trip. Before I came here, I went out and I bought supplies and I bought some books and some little candy to give to the children. And I have to say, it is the most fulfilling experience, seeing the smile on their faces.
We sort of said it was probably like the best social studies class you could ever give a school.
It's also created partnerships for when our guests leave Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean, because they want to get more involved in how they can make a difference in the education system here. Unfortunately, many of the schools here are overcrowded and lack certain things that they do have overseas. So it's given them an opportunity to see that and to develop partnerships, whether it be to put book drives, to put those in place from overseas, school supply drives, or to just get involved with bringing an element of what they do in their schools there and introducing that to us so that we might bring programs to train teachers here. So it's really been a win-win situation for all of us. As guests of any of our resorts, there are many ways that you can get involved in making a difference here. One of them is just by packing with a purpose, and that's a program that we're involved with where we're inviting our guests to contribute 5 pounds of space in their suitcase to bring down much needed school supplies, and they can actually look on the website Pack for a Purpose to see the wish list for every region where they're visiting.
So it's just very nice, like home where we're from, we don't normally see that or have that. So to come here and experience that is great. I would simply tell other people back home when we go back that when you come here, the feeling that you get from doing what we did is just so great that it sort of tops off a vacation.
To check out the current projects through the Sandals Foundation in the many countries of the Caribbean, contact sandalsfoundation.org.
If you are a volunteer or if your organization works with volunteers, I encourage you to go to buildingbridgescoalition.org, click on the link to the resolution for International Volunteer Day, and encourage your members of Congress to support this resolution, because together we'll build the field that'll help our volunteers, our global citizens, have a greater impact in our world together.
Well, we need to commend the Building Bridges Coalition for really being the driving force in this recognition. And having talked and met with and had so many members of my own family and so many of my own friends who have gone overseas and done volunteer work, it's really quite amazing how they, in the process of extending themselves to help someone else in need, they, at the end of the day, feel like they're the primary beneficiaries by learning so much from other people around the world and developing a deeper understanding of how profound some of the needs are around the world. There are places in this world with life expectancies of 25 to 30. Where people don't grow old, where people don't have the benefits of an education and health care. And so by going out around the world and helping uplift humanity, people who do that volunteer work find themselves uplifted and feeling good about the experience. And most importantly, in the process, they help somebody else in the world. It's a wonderful thing. And so we want to encourage it. We want to encourage more people to look for those opportunities. We want to encourage more organizations to help facilitate and create those kind of opportunities. It's America at its best.